Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have your cup of coffee and we can share that virtual coffee hour this morning. My name is Millie Garcia Serrano, and I serve as the Assistant Commissioner for the Bureau of Wayside Cleanup. We had a wonderful night last night at the LSPA annual September 2025 annual meeting, and we had the pleasure of seeing some of you all. So we're just going to start first by checking in with MassDEP staff. If DEP staff could kindly please state your name and your role so that our esteemed audience knows who from MassDEP is here to answer any questions and engage in dialogue. So I'll start to my right. Ken?
I'm Ken Mara with the Policy and Program Development Group in Wayside Cleanup.
Wonderful, thank you. John?
Good morning, John Ziegler, PFAS coordinator in the Boston office.
Wonderful. David?
Good morning, I'm Dave Foss, statewide brownfields coordinator, also in the Boston office.
Great. Abby?
Hi, everyone. Abby Anderson, Brownfields Environmental Justice Coordinator, also in Boston.
Great. Brian?
Good morning, Brian Roden, Audits and Enforcement Coordinator, also in the Boston office.
Okay. Did I miss anyone from MassDEP? All right. That's our crew for today. So I'll just kick it off a little bit. Again, it was wonderful to see so many great people last night at the LSPA's annual membership September meeting. Lots of familiar faces, lots of new faces, which is wonderful because that's exactly what we want to see. The next generation of LSPs and consultants interested and engaged in the environmental conversation and bringing awareness of the issues of concern into action. So we are really excited and happy to go back to school and refortify ourselves and understanding that our agenda and our plate is really full. But again, with a lot of enthusiasm to move forward issues that concern all of us. I do want to sincerely congratulate 4 members from the LSPA that last night received awards. First of all, Wendy Rundle receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award, well deserved for so many years of service and her last 15 years spent at the LSPA. Joe Roman as the past president, working directly for the entire board and the membership, did a great job also in his tenure as president. Larry McTiernan from RU received another award, and we are very grateful for Larry elevating our desire to move forward with updated PIP guidance, which is sorely needed. And I was very grateful for his free public service announcement last night, where he stated anybody who's worked at a site or has had projects that warrant public involvement, give him a call. We're looking for your insight in terms of what's worked, what hasn't worked, and it's important that you raise your voice so that we can update and create a PIP guidance that resonates with the issues that we contend with now. So thank you, Larry, for that. Let's see. Also, there was an award given out earned by Paul McNeil for his terrific work while working on the 21J board issues. And we understand that his 21J board was basically replaced by Joel Loitherstein. So congratulations and welcome, Joel, into this new role at the 21J board. With that, I will tell you, last night was a mix of celebration. MassDEP celebrated this year, we're celebrating 50 years of service following our mission, authorities given by the state statute and regulations. And we were able to talk about a few of those For example, site cleanups, new MCP, the 2024 is 1 year old. The ER group supported over 1,000 notifications and 1,000 complaints. Our technical and financial support division has done a lot of things, managing our money, spending the money, recovering money. But in addition to that, also very important for the LSP practice and the board, we provided IT assistance to the LSP board in supporting all of its licensing efforts. So credit goes there to Chris Borges. In the policy front, 5 policy updates were completed with 6 more released for public comment. There's 2 of them right now are in the public domain, and we will be issuing a few more in the next coming month. In addition, also, Ken's group was successful in awarding 5 tags. These are technical assistant grants to the tune of collectively $100,000. From the federal sites, we oversaw 31 Superfund sites throughout the year. It's quite impressive. 12 federal facilities installations. Those are the DoD component sites, whether it's Air Force, Army, Navy. These are the sites that follow guidance under DoD. And then we also work with the EPA on 2 removal actions, and we're also working with the EPA to package 1 site for hopefully NPL designation, Superfund designation. In the brownfields arena, tons of work, but I want to highlight 20 projects that are either complete or underway, and these are supported by 5. We also supported 5 brownfields roundtables. The last one was a resounding success. It was a virtual one. So thank you, David, and also Abby for making this a reality. And hopefully we can see more of these in the coming year. PFAS, we were super active in PFAS. Thank you, John Ziegler, for all your terrific work as our coordinator. Through your diligent work, we've been able to eliminate PFAS, even in hazards, at 76 private wells. And these are, again, conditions that 90 parts per trillion or over, we are addressing immediately in a 2-step fashion, initially providing bottled water and installing POETs. So thank you, John. That's a lot of work, and a lot of work goes to the regions implementing our guidance. NRD was, again, a resounding success. I want to thank Michelle Craddock for all her great work, working directly with the EEA secretary and all the EEA staff, our partners, Attorney General's office, and obviously our federal partners. She's been successful in navigating a lot of the federal engagement that's needed to make these NRD claims a reality. And one of them, very important, culminated in a 2.1 settlement that was just finalized at the Chapac landfill Superfund site. So that one actually has contamination that includes radioactive materials. So thank you, Michelle, for your terrific work on behalf of site cleanup. The audits program, that's the heart and soul of our privatized program. And we were very lucky this week to work with the state of New York, who's exploring the privatization of their program. And they were just asking a lot of questions. And they asked, how do you manage ensuring that there's protection of public health and the environment in the midst of a privatized program? So that's where the auditing component comes in addition to all the compliance assistance up front. So with that, I want to thank the LSPA for engaging with MassDEP, and there was a great meeting, and I believe that, Brian, correct me if I'm wrong, you occasionally, from time to time, meet with the Loss Prevention Committee, and through that committee, we get to hear directly from the LSPs what's hot, what's not, what needs to be fixed, where are the trouble areas, where can do we better, where can do we more. So that was a great, successful meeting. So thank you, Brian, and all the auditors, all the audit section chiefs from the regions. Likewise, the audits group conducted over 2,100 audits, and these are collectively audits that range from level 1 audits to level 2 audits to level 3 audits, the more complex, with the sites that have an activity and use limitation. going through an L3 process. So 2,100 audits is quite impressive. And again, I just want to thank the practice, the attorneys, the PRPs that come together with MassDEP to address these issues. And sometimes these issues are a paperwork issue, and we try to work through all the kinks and try to get through the process as seamless as possible. So thank you all for helping bring these sites to a permanent solution situation. MOSPRA, which is a program that MassDEP, the Bureau for Site Cleanup, we've been entrusted with managing this particular program. It's an oil spill prevention and response program, and it has its separate statute. It has its separate trust fund, and I'm just very happy to report that in FY25, we issued 15 grants, and these grants totaled $692,000. We're going to be poised to issue a new request, a new grant cycle coming up. So just keep an eye out for that. Last but not least, I want to thank all the regions. We had a successful, wonderful tenure this past year, working directly with all the regions and predicated on the types of releases that come to be found in these regions. There's different flavors of highlights. So today I'm just going to highlight one action by the regions. So I'll start with Nero, Northeast region. They spent a lot of time addressing contamination at public parks, and the work that took place to advance that particular protective endpoint at these public parks took place in Salem, Medford, Needham, and Malden. In Central region, my colleague, Mary Jude Pixley, the regional director in Central Region, often refers to Central Region as PFAS Central. They have lots of PFAS sites out there. And to respond to that need, the Central Region created a PFAS section within the Bureau of Waste Site Cleanup. So under the expert management of Deputy Regional Director Mark Baldy, numerous sites are being addressed in the Central Region. Of course, all the other regions are also handling PFAS, but again, they have a very specific PFAS section just to deal with the PFAS challenges. Western Region, lots of activity in Western Region, especially in the brownfields arena, and they had a very successful collaboration with the town of Montague, and I think I highlighted that particular project last night, where there's redevelopment that's slated with a housing endpoint, supported and actually developed by Habitat for Humanity. That's the developer. So we are very proud to join in and assist with regards to the crisis that's happening right now. And it's been there for a while on the housing. And there's a whole concentrated effort by all of the secretariats to see how we can get in front of the housing shortage. So our contribution goes to the use of brownfields dollars and providing assistance and working with other state partners to alleviate and maybe help, even maybe through brownfields tax credits. So stay tuned. Last but not least, Southeast Region. They have been really super busy working on a whole bunch of things, but especially also PFAS. Specific to PFAS and site discovery, there's been a lot of activity on the island of Nantucket, where they have had actually lots of releases. And because of that, through the site discovery program, they've sampled close to 103 properties on Nantucket. The town has been super responsive, and in some occasions, they've actually engaged conversation with the water departments who have been active in installing public water supplies, basically just making those water connections to alleviate and basically end the PFAS exposure through a permanent solution condition that entailed water connections. So that's sort of the palette of flavor of the things that we've been working on during FY25. And last night, I talked a little bit about looking to the future. And the future is focusing on PFAS. The future is looking and focusing on engineered barriers just reconciling our existing inventory with commensurate FAMs, the financial assurance mechanisms. And the future is also looking to the vape transition pathway and APOMs. There's a lot of work that we'd like to conduct, including APOM system inspections. So I will stop there since this is your meeting. I just wanted to at least provide you with an overview from the themes and topics and celebration snippets that we talked about last night at the LSPA meeting. And again, thank you, all of y'all, for helping us guide this program in a way that resonates with the realities of what we're contending with out in the environment, in the world of cleanup. So I'll stop here. If anyone has questions, or maybe Matt can give us a count of the kinds of birds that he's seeing out there while working, just walking his 6-mile walk on a certain trail this morning. So why don't I just kick it off to Matt? And by the way, Matt, you did a great job last night shepherding everyone into the room. You always do. We count on you.
I try.
You do. You more than try.
But I'm going to try to flip the camera here. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I am.
Perfect. Where are we, Matt?
Warwick City Park in Warwick, Rhode Island.
Nice.
Sorry. Not in Massachusetts. In that castaway colony of Massachusetts that then became Rhode Island.
There we go. Well, I know that David is part of the trails preservation. So why don't you give us a little overview? I know this is not directly, but indirectly tied in. That would be awesome to kind of hear.
Actually, I have a request of the LSP folks, and then I'll talk about trails for a second.
Yeah.
So working with Millie and John Beeling, I'm trying to gather information about obstacles to housing development that are kind of within the wayside cleanup realm. And so not really focusing on tax credits because we have a team at DOR that does that. If you have specific ideas or of a specific project that's been like, hey, we were hindered because of this environmental obstacle, and maybe it's vapor intrusion and stuff in the ground, please reach out to me. Like, I'm gathering information and we're trying to put together ideas that may not be within the MCP, but might be within like how sites get cleaned up to support maybe change of use. Maybe they're zoned industrial and now people want to make it residential. Please reach out to me. I'm trying to gather that information and put that together so that people higher up the food chain can make policy decisions or recommendations. So anyway, you guys have my contact info. So the other thing, I'm on this Trail Access for All working group, which is run out of so EEA has an Office of Outdoor Recreation. Paul Janegy is the director of that. And we have representatives from all across the user spectrum. So like New England Mountain Bike Association, Appalachian Trail, the trustees, lots of outside nonprofits, but also people from 6 or 8 EEA agencies like DCR, Fish and Wildlife. Anyway, lots of, and I'm the DEP representative on it. If you have opinions about how we can make trails accessible to more people, so it's like getting our open natural resources more available to a broader audience, and then really specifically making them accessible to people who are living with disability. So kind of some percentage of trails should be improved and modified to make them accessible to people who are using mobility devices. And if you think, hey, this is good for someone in a wheelchair, it's also good for a grandma with a walker or someone with their kid in a stroller or people with other sensory disabilities like blind folks. And so anyway, we're trying to put together a structure that says what are the priorities, and if this is included in the big green bond, then we can kind of capture some of those funds to make trails accessible to a broader range of citizens and visitors to Massachusetts. So anyway, that's been a cool little side thing I get to do in my spare time representing the department on that working group.
That's wonderful, David. We appreciate, and you're the right person for obviously that particular conversation. And of course, collectively with Michelle Craddock, our NRD coordinator, I know that often the NRD restoration considers, when possible, the introduction of accessibility features. For example, a restoration at a beach. We might be able to procure Moby mats so that the water is accessible to those that can't walk to it. So things like that. Thank you very much for your dedication and for your representing DEP in a bright way. So now with that, the floor is yours. I feel like after 20 minutes, we've given you the tour around the world. But again, this coffee hour is all about getting ideas, gleaning ideas. And notice that last time we met, we had an individual that attended this meeting and talked about NONs. So that kind of planted the seed for MassDEP to talk a little bit about lower level enforcement, higher level enforcement, and do a little bit of research around violations that are cited in NONs. So your voice matter, your voice counts, and helps us sort of structure agendas that resonate with your needs. So I'm going to stop now and see if anybody has questions, comments, questions for our MassDEP team.
Hey, hi Millie, can you hear me? This is Jonathan O'Brien.
Oh, hi. Good
Hi,
morning.
how are you? Good morning.
Good.
I'm also out walking, so I apologize for any background noise. I just had a question about related to the PFAS regulations and drinking water and MCP as well. I've always been comforted by the fact that Massachusetts is able to make regulations more strict than the federal regulations, but I'm curious, just in the current federal administration, has DP heard anything, or do you have any sense of how things may change over the next few years in terms of states being able to be more strict than EPA's drinking water regulations?
No, it's a great question. I'm going to tee it up for John. So here's what I know. Of course, there was a change and a robust agenda on PFAS during the last administration. Recall that there was the PFAS action plan. It still, I think, exists on the EPA website, or you can kind of look it up and see for yourself what the plan was. And it was a multi-pronged plan addressing PFAS in all media: water, air, soil. In addition to also biosolids, I believe, land application, because I did participate in a national dialogue around land application and the choices with landfilling, incineration, land application, of course, for addressing PFAS. So specific to the MCLs, what we do know post-January, the two MCLs that did survive with promulgated numbers are PFOS and PFOA, and that's at 2 parts per trillion. So John, definitely check me on that. That is still true. So those numbers are active. Yep, those numbers are active. Correct, John? Yes. Those numbers are active.
Right, four parts per trillion, right?
It's four, correct.
4 parts per trillion for each. Yeah. Beyond that, we are still waiting to understand where the federal government is going to go with the remainder of the PFAS. We do have the PFAS 6, of course. And I think that the challenge, or shall we say, what we are focusing on right now is ensuring that the Bureau of Wayside Cleanup does not get in front of the drinking water program under the Bureau of Water Resources. So there was an extension to the Safe Drinking Water Act with regards to compliance with the Safe Drinking Water Act. And that extension was granted to all the states to organize themselves and comply with the numbers. And I think that extension takes us through 2027 or 2031.
2031 is the
2031,
proposal.
the
That
proposal.
is what EPA has proposed.
So that does not mean that we're going to sit and wait until 2031. I can definitely preview that. That I know for a fact. We are organizing ourselves to basically move forward with the science that's available for MassDEP to act on rounding out our numbers so that we can move forward again collectively. Our bureau, the Drinking Water Bureau, we want to be regulating and talking from the same sheet of music when it comes to numbers. We definitely do not want to confuse the LSPs, the PRPs, the public ourselves if we have two variant sets of numbers. So we're in the process of harmonizing, we're in the process of determining how to use the toxicological approaches, the new data that's out there, to update our, say, for example, imminent hazard evaluation approach, our risk assessment approach, and again, of course, deciding and finally moving forward with the promulgation of new numbers that, again, resonate with science that we agree with. I can definitely tell you that I want to say New Hampshire is moving forward, and you should definitely check with a New Hampshire state official. But what I heard is that New Hampshire is moving forward with promulgation of the 4 as part of their groundwater standards and soil standards. So we are watching, working with our partners in New England, seeing what they're doing. Internally, we're super busy, just trying to make sure that we have all the ducks in a row. But insofar as I'll end it by saying that so long, because we are a delegated state when it comes to Safe Drinking Water Act, so long as we can adopt the number, it could be 4 or below, we are in compliance. And when we receive federal dollars to implement this program, the endpoint has to be 4 or less, but we have that extension. The extension is sort of giving us the timeline for the department to navigate and organize ourselves around the endpoints that will be those MCLs. John, I'm going to invite you to add more commentary on this very good question from Jonathan.
Yeah, Jonathan, I think it's a great question. I think we are also struggling with the uncertainty coming from EPA on this. They certainly have the proposal to retain the MCLs for PFOA and PFOS that EPA announced at 4 parts per trillion, as you mentioned. And last I saw or heard from EPA is they plan to move on this proposal sometime this fall. I don't see anything additional on their website other than they had a couple of news releases as to what their PFAS strategy is. We're certainly trying to get some clarity on that. But as Millie mentioned, in the meantime, working with our Office of Research and Standards and the Drinking Water Program, we continue to look at our standards, new toxicity values, and what that might mean. So that work continues, but for right now, we're still regulating the 6 PFAS compounds. There could be changes to that, certainly. And as Millie mentioned, we would certainly wait for Drinking Water Program. If they're going to make any adjustments to the Massachusetts MCL, then Wayside Cleanup would adopt for our groundwater 1 standard, the Massachusetts MCL. So I hope that helps answer your question.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Millie, and thank you, John. So we'll just sort of continue to stay tuned, I guess.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. We're all in that place. And I just wanted to, Millie, if I could, I just wanted to acknowledge, because I know we have some regional folks on here, and Amita, just regarding our PFAS efforts. you know, Millie gave me a lot of credit for the work that we're doing on imminent hazards, but the real credit goes to the regions. They're the ones that are overseeing the installations of these systems. So I just wanted to give credit where credit's due. And I think they're doing a great job. You know, my role is just to try to make us, you know, all work in the same direction on these systems. But, you know, so I just wanted to give that credit, and also credit to Amita, who helps me, you know, managing this program. So thank you.
Definitely. Thank you so much, John, and consistency. And I just want to apologize. Somehow my screen didn't get to the rest of the DP staff. So Amita and I, of course, Amita, and can the regional staff sort of raise their hands or say hello this morning so that folks can recognize you? James? And you're on mute, but I'm going to hear from you in a minute.
Yeah, James, also AKA Wes Perry, and I'm the PFAS branch chief out of the Central Region.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Who else from MassDEP? Sarah?
Yeah, I'm Sarah Showalter. I work in Central with Wes as well.
Fantastic. Anybody else from MassDEP? Diane Baxter. You're in this morning.
I'm here. Not
Okay.
so much working on PFAS, but yes. Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
From the
Perfect. Well,
federal
the
grant
DoD,
world.
yeah, but the DoD has performed some PFAS assessment work, which is wonderful. So we also,
Yes.
what happens in 21 sites translates into the DoD world and vice versa. And we write concurrence letters that talk about the need to comply with ARARs, i.e. MCLs, or GW1 standards. That
Oh, absolutely.
So
And there are
we do
quite
have
a
a connection.
few PFAS investigations ongoing, especially at the different military installations. A few also at traditional Superfund sites, but pretty much every military installation has a PFAS investigation.
Perfect. Yeah, so stay tuned. I think we'll have a little bit more information. In fact, we'll be sure to organize our thoughts more elegantly, Jonathan, for our advisory committee meeting coming up in November. Give a full review on PFAS and where we are.
Thank you.
Thank you. I see Matt Line from the LSP board. And Matt, it would be wonderful if you don't mind saying hello and also give us a little update on the LSP board regs, if you don't mind. Good morning.
Hello, I'm not sure if I can see. Reg, yeah, we are in the process of getting those back to the commissioner and the EA. There were some minor changes being made, but that's moving up the chain. I don't know how long it'll take to get them promulgated. That's kind of out of our hands, but it's in process.
Fantastic. Thank you for all your great support to the practice.
You're welcome.
All right, any more questions? We want to hear from you. Questions? Going once. Twice? 3 times? Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're spending a little bit of your coffee hour with us. And we look forward to seeing you in November. It will be a hybrid meeting, so we will stay tuned with you on that one. And we are looking forward to a great presentation on soils. We have a speaker that's going to talk about the South Coast Rail and the soil management to make that the choo-choo train a reality for communities like Fall River and New Bedford. So it's going to be a combination of AECOM and VHB talking. So more to come. And again, we thank you very much for your interest, support, and keep an eye out for that PFAS omnibus bill. It's very aggressive. We're really putting it all out there, shouting it from the mountaintops with regards to the need for funding so we can do our job to protect human health and the environment. And there are some very unique features that will certainly leave a lasting legacy, positive lasting legacy, we hope, for future generations. So thank you. I look forward to seeing you in November. Time flies. Great.
Thank you.
Melanie.
Have a nice
Take care.
morning, rest of the day.
You as well.
Bye-bye. Thank you.